All right, RCW fans, get ready for a deep dive. Let's break down Fright Night. My jaw was on the floor more than once. I know about you.
Absolutely. Going in, we knew this event was stacked, but wow, RCW delivered on the surprises.
They sure did.
Mhm.
And you guys, the fans, have been flooding us with questions and theories and some seriously passionate opinions.
Yeah.
So we're diving deep into the fallout, analyzing those controversial moments, and trying to figure out where might RCW be headed next.
Exactly. We're talking potential title shifts, new rivalries brewing, and that main event ending. Well, let's just say Kane's reign of terror might not be as secure as we thought.
Okay, let's unpack this thing, starting with the U.S. Championship picture. We all saw LJ Hernandez finally clinch that #1 contender spot against Samuel Parker.
Yeah, it's been a long road for Hernandez, and that win against Parker was a statement. But you know what's fascinating to me is how Parker's story is unfolding. 2 losses to Wolf. Now it's almost like he's deliberately pushing himself further into the darkness.
Ooh, interesting. So not just a slump, but a potential character shift.
Yeah.
What kind of challenge do you think a fired-up Hernandez poses to Wolf?
Well, Hernandez has the speed and agility to frustrate Wolf, but can he withstand Wolf's methodical grinding style? Remember, Wolf isn't just strong, he's incredibly smart in the ring. He wears you down, picks you apart, and then boom, lights out.
Yeah, that's Wolf's signature for sure. Speaking of methodical beatdowns, let's talk about Wolf's title defense against Caleb Morrison. Morrison went full-on berserker mode, didn't he? I haven't seen that level of aggression from him, maybe ever.
There were moments where I felt like Morrison was channeling a completely different wrestler. That headbutt to the turnbuckle, the way he was just hammering on Wolf, it's almost like he was trying to prove something, not just win the title.
You could feel the intensity in the arena, and the way Wolf managed to weather that storm, that reversal into the guillotine choke, was textbook Wolf. But I honestly thought Morrison was out cold for a second there.
Right. That's where Wolf's ring awareness is just next level. He knows exactly how much pressure to apply, how to exploit even the slightest opening. But this is what I find so compelling. Morrison's brutality is the kind of unpredictable element that could actually disrupt Wolf's game plan in the future.
So you're saying Wolf should be worried. I thought this win cemented his dominance.
I think he's definitely still the top dog. But Morrison exposed a potential weakness. Wolf thrives on control, on dictating the pace. If someone can disrupt that, make him fight their fight, then maybe, just maybe, they have a shot at taking him down.
Man, that's going to have me studying Wolf's matches even closer now. Okay, let's shift gears to the Money in the Bank match. Talk about pressure. John Ward was already in a tough spot defending that briefcase, and after losing to Eddie Butcher.
The stakes were astronomical. Remember, we're not that far removed from the women's Money in the Bank fiasco, where the cash-in backfired spectacularly. You could see that weighing on Ward, making him fight even more desperately.
Absolutely. He wasn't just trying to win. He was fighting for his future. That deep six he hit on Butcher outside the ring, brutal. For those who don't know, the deep six is Ward's signature power move. He lifts his opponent up over his head and just slams them down with incredible force.
And it's a move that perfectly encapsulates Ward's style. He's not flashy, but he's powerful, and he can end a match in an instant. But Butcher, man, that guy is resilient.
He is. Taking that deep six, kicking out of the pin, and then hitting that MIT new driver to seal the deal. That was a clinic in how to overcome adversity. Speaking of the new driver, it's this devastating move where Butcher basically twists his opponent's body in midair and drives their head into the mat.
Brutal stuff. But what shocked me was his post-match statement. A straight-up challenge to Kane. Is he delusional?
Delusional. Maybe not. Butcher thrives on being underestimated.
Yeah.
Remember, this is the guy who clawed his way up from the bottom, the perennial underdog, calling out Kane the most dominant champion in RCW history. It's bold, sure, but it's also brilliant. He's instantly put himself in the spotlight, and now everyone was wondering, can he actually pull this off? I guess we'll find out. Okay, we got to talk about Yuri the Headhunter from Japan was everything we hoped for and more. I loved how Marcella, the Heritage Champion, specifically called out Yuri because she wanted a real challenge.
Marcella's always had this prove-yourself mentality, and you could tell she was relishing the opportunity to face someone with Yuri's reputation. But I think even she was caught off guard by how unique and relentless Yuri's style is. That kip-up after Marcella hit her with those brutal double knees, the crowd went wild.
It was incredible. The pace of that match was insane. It felt like a whirlwind of strikes and counters, both women pushing each other to the limit. Even though Marcella retained, you could tell that Yuri made a huge impact.
Oh, absolutely. That match solidified both women as top contenders in the division. We're all wondering, will there be a rematch? Will Yuri shift her focus to the Women's World Championship? The possibilities are wide open.
And speaking of the Women's World Championship, can we talk about that triple threat match? Sarah Kay's frustration after losing her previous title shot, the baby babe feeling robbed of her cash-in opportunity, and Brittany Ali stepping up to face both challengers. It was a powder keg just waiting to explode.
And explode it did. Kendo sticks, a baseball bat, high-impact moves. It was a no-holds-barred brawl, and you could feel the tension in the air. It was like every woman was fighting for her survival, not just the championship.
And then that ending, Sarah Kay capitalizing on the chaos, pinning the baby babe after that brutal attack instead of going after the champion. That was a masterclass in opportunistic villainy.
It was. And I think it speaks volumes about Sarah Kay's character. She's not just ruthless. She's incredibly cunning. She knows how to exploit weaknesses, how to use the chaos to her advantage. It makes me wonder, what kind of champion will she be?
Right. Will she be this calculating, manipulative mastermind? Or will she embrace a more brutal, dominant style? I can't wait to see how this unfolds. But let's be real. Everyone was waiting for the main event, the first ever casket match in RCW history.
This was history in the making, and it lived up to the hype, the brutality of the stipulation, the clash of styles between Reyes and Kane. It was a recipe for carnage.
And for Kane, this was a whole new challenge. We all know he's dominant in a straight-up fight. But in a casket match, you don't just win by beating your opponent down. You have to break their will, incapacitate them long enough to get them in that casket, and shut the lid. It's a psychological battle as much as it is a physical one.
Absolutely. And I think we saw that play out in the match. Kane's usual dominance, his overwhelming power, it wasn't enough to completely break Reyes. Reyes kept finding ways to fight back, to use his agility and speed to evade Kane, to inflict damage with weapons.
There were moments where I honestly thought Reyes was going to pull off the upset. Those near falls, the way he kept kicking out of Kane's signature moves, he took everything Kane threw at him and kept coming back for more.
But that's where Kane's experience and sheer willpower came into play. He might have been frustrated, he might have been pushed to his limits, but he never gave up.
And that final sequence where he just unleashed on Reyes, pummeled him into submission, and finally managed to get him in the casket. It was brutal, but you could feel the relief in the arena. Kane had survived.
But at what cost? That match took a toll on him, both physically and mentally. We saw a vulnerability in Kane that we haven't seen before, and I think that's what makes this whole situation so interesting. With a new Mr. Money in the Bank lurking and several wrestlers stepping up their game, is Kane's reign of dominance finally coming to an end?
Yeah, that question about Kane's vulnerability, it's echoing through the entire RCW universe. Social media is buzzing, and the fans have some pretty wild theories about what this all means for the future of RCW.
Oh, absolutely. Fright Night definitely threw a wrench into a lot of people's predictions, and now everyone's trying to figure out the new pecking order.
So let's start with the most controversial win of the night. Sarah Kay's shocking victory in the Women's World Championship triple threat match. Some fans are calling it a brilliant strategic move. Others are saying it was a dirty tactic.
Yeah, the debate is raging online, and I think it all comes down to how you view Sarah Kay's character. Is she a cunning strategist who capitalized on a chaotic situation? Or is she a ruthless opportunist who's willing to do whatever it takes to win, even if it means betraying her fellow competitors?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. Remember, Sarah Kay has been laser-focused on the Women's World Championship ever since she lost her previous title shot.
Yeah.
She's been playing the long game, and that win against the baby babe, it was a calculated risk. That paid off.
Exactly. Sarah Kay knows how to exploit weaknesses, and she saw an opportunity to take out a major threat in the baby babe while simultaneously securing the championship. It was a bold move, and it definitely cements her as a force to be reckoned with in the women's division.
But can she hold on to that title? Brittany Ali is not going to be happy about being dethroned. And the baby babe, well, let's just say she's not known for letting things go easily.
Oh, there's no doubt. We're going to see some fireworks in the coming weeks. This rivalry is far from over, and I think we're all bracing for the inevitable rematch. But the real question is, who else might step up to challenge Sarah Kay? We saw how deep the women's division is at Fright Night, and there are several contenders waiting in the wings.
And speaking of contenders waiting in the wings, let's talk about Eddie Butcher and that Money in the Bank contract. The fans are going wild with predictions about when and how he'll cash in.
The speculation is running rampant. Some fans think he'll go after Kane right away, while others believe he'll wait for the perfect opportunity, maybe even holding on to the briefcase for months.
You know, it's interesting how Butcher's Money in the Bank win is almost a mirror image of what happened with the women's Money in the Bank situation. Remember, the previous holder tried to cash in prematurely, and it backfired spectacularly. Do you think Butcher learned from that mistake?
I think he did. Butcher is smart, and he's patient. He knows that the Money in the Bank contract is a powerful weapon, and he's not going to waste it. He's going to wait for the right moment, the moment when his chosen opponent is at their weakest, and then he'll strike.
Which raises the question, who is his target? He made that bold statement challenging Kane. But is that just a smokescreen? Could he be setting his sights on someone else entirely?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Butcher thrives on unpredictability, and I think he enjoys keeping everyone guessing. He knows that the longer he holds onto that briefcase, the more psychological pressure he puts on the entire roster. Everyone's looking over their shoulder, wondering when and where he's going to strike.
It's like a game of cat and mouse, and the entire RCW universe is caught in the middle. But let's not forget about the U.S. Championship scene. LJ Hernandez finally has his shot at the title after that hard-fought win against Samuel Parker.
Hernandez has earned this opportunity, and the fans are excited to see what he can do against Sebastian Wolf. He's got the speed, the agility, and now the momentum. But can he overcome Wolf's experience, his technical mastery, and that almost supernatural ability to control the pace of a match?
That's the big question. Wolf is a puzzle that no one has been able to solve yet. But maybe, just maybe, Hernandez has the right combination of skills and determination to pull off the upset.
And let's not forget about Samuel Parker. His losing streak has a lot of fans worried, and the speculation about his future is running wild. Is this a temporary setback? Or is it the beginning of a downward spiral? Is he going to embrace the darkness, or will he find a way to reclaim his former glory?
Some fans are even suggesting that he might align himself with Caleb Morrison. After all, they both share that intense, almost unhinged aggression.
Now, that would be a formidable pairing. Morrison's unpredictable brutality combined with Parker's technical prowess. That could spell trouble for anyone in the U.S. Championship picture.
And then there's Yuri. Her debut was explosive, and the fans are already clamoring for a rematch against Marcella.
That match was a highlight of Fright Night. It was a clash of styles, a showcase of technical skill and athleticism. And that ending with Marcella barely holding on to her title has everyone wondering who will ultimately come out on top in this rivalry.
But here's the thing. Some fans are suggesting that Yuri might set her sights on an even bigger prize, the Women's World Championship.
That would be a bold move, especially considering how stacked the women's division is right now. But after seeing her performance at Fright Night, I wouldn't put it past her. Yuri is a force to be reckoned with, and she's clearly not afraid of a challenge.
So it's clear that Fright Night has shaken up the RCW landscape, and the fans are on the edge of their seats waiting to see what happens next.
And speaking of what happens next, we asked you guys to share your wildest predictions, and let me tell you, some of these are absolutely mind-blowing.
Let's dive into the RCW rumor mill and see what the fans are cooking up. You guys did not disappoint with these predictions. We got Betrayal Alliance's championship shakeups. It's all here.
Yeah, it seems like after Fright Night, no one's position is safe, which makes for some exciting fan theories.
So let's start with the U.S. Championship scene. A lot of you are convinced Samuel Parker's descent into darkness is far from over. We're seeing predictions of a full-on heel turn, maybe even aligning himself with, say, Caleb Morrison.
I love this theory. Morrison's unbridled aggression paired with Parker's technical skill set, now fueled by resentment and a thirst for revenge. That's a recipe for a dominant and possibly terrifying tag team.
Right, they could really wreak havoc on the division.
Yeah.
And it would give Parker a chance to rebuild himself, not as the honorable hero, but as something much more sinister.
It's a classic wrestling arc, but with RCW's knack for character development, it could be something truly special.
Speaking of potential pairings, some fans are suggesting that Sebastian Wolf needs a new challenger.
Yeah.
Someone who can push him in ways we haven't seen before. And the name that keeps popping up.
Yuri. Now, that's a prediction I did not see coming, but it's brilliant. Imagine the clash of styles, Wolf's methodical dismantling versus Yuri's explosive offense. And what a statement it would make for RCW to have a woman challenging for a traditionally male title.
It would be a game changer. And it aligns perfectly with RCW's commitment to showcasing its talent regardless of gender. It would make for some incredible storytelling, too.
Absolutely. The build-up, the training montages, Yuri having to overcome the doubters who say she doesn't belong, it would be electric.
All right, let's move on to the Women's World Championship picture. No surprise here. The most popular prediction is a triple threat rematch. Sarah Kay defending against Brittany Ali and the Baby Babe.
Yeah, it's the natural next step. The bad blood is boiling, and each woman has a legitimate claim to the title. But some fans are taking it a step further and predicting a fatal four-way with Marcella added to the mix.
Whoa, now that would be a match for the ages. 4 of the most dominant women in RCW all vying for the championship in one chaotic battle.
And can you imagine the alliances forming and breaking down, the betrayals, the double crosses, the sheer athleticism on display? It would be a spectacle.
I don't think my heart could handle that level of intensity. But of course, the biggest mystery is Eddie Butcher and that Money in the Bank contract.
Yeah.
The theories are all over the map.
Some fans think he'll strike quickly, maybe even at the next event, catching Kane off guard while he's still recovering from that brutal casket match.
Makes sense. Kane's vulnerable, and Butcher has never been one to shy away from a challenge. But other fans think he'll wait, study his opponents, choose his moment carefully.
And then there's the most intriguing prediction of all. What if Butcher doesn't cash in on Kane at all?
Hold on, are you saying he might target a different championship?
Exactly. Some fans have pointed out that the Money in the Bank contract can be used for any championship, not just the world title. It's a long shot, but it would be a classic Butcher move, defying expectations and throwing RCW into chaos.
So he could go after Sebastian Wolf, or even shake things up by going for the Women's World Championship.
It's a wild card scenario, but it would be an absolute game changer. Just imagine the reaction from the crowd if Butcher came out during a women's title match and announced his intentions.
My mind is spinning. I need a whiteboard and a team of analysts to break down all these possibilities.
That's the beauty of RCW right now. Fright Night has opened up so many possibilities, and it feels like anything can happen.
It's the perfect blend of athleticism, storytelling, and unpredictable drama. We can analyze the matches, study the characters, but ultimately RCW keeps us guessing, and that's what makes it so captivating.
Exactly. So to all you RCW fans out there, keep those predictions coming. What do you think will happen next? Who will rise? Who will fall? Let us know on social media, and maybe your theory will become RCW reality. Until next time, stay tuned, stay hyped, and as always, expect the unexpected.